Hey, everybody. Tabitha and I just got done watching the Star Trek Season 3, Strange New Worlds Episode 5 through the Lens of Time for the second time today. I'm like shocked. I was almost speechless as to what I saw through this episode. It is amazing to me that they seem to be aligning better to canon and other aspects the Trek fan culture seems to love. Hey, Norwood Silver Aged. As you know from the channel, if you're new to this channel, we focus on Golden Age, Silver Age, Modern Age, and in this lens, TV and movies, Star Trek, and novels, sci-fi novels. So I'll just get right to it. This episode honestly blew me away. It was well done, great storyline. It adapted some stuff to more align to canon that we're used to, especially from the original series. And, and some other things, and they do take some notes from Indiana Jones. And they take some notes from Stargate. And so they took those in, blend those into a really well done story. Like I said, I'm just amazed. And from a rating perspective, I have not done this year yet. My highest award level is Latinum. Gold pressed Latinum. Cheers, this episode. Is it 100% perfect? No, but damn, it's awesome, incredible. I loved it. Latinum. The Latinum rating I gave was given a lot of consideration and thoughts. And, a lot of this has to be based on the comments I received from you guys. And so we're a young, growing channel. It's important to us. I'm getting lots of likes. Please help us. I need to get more subscribers. Please subscribe to our channel. And this is more I get to tell you about what's going on in this episode. By the way, I actually call this evil through the lens of time. A little bit with Dan's relationship as, he says, dance instructor, Spock. And some uncomfortable levels, but we start off basically with this one medical tech that I really was liking a lot. Gamble, an ensign, as we find out as this goes on a little bit more. Loved his enthusiasm, love for medicine, love for being part of Starfleet. Great, awesome. And, then we get into the Dr. Corby. There's Chapel, romance is brought up a little bit more. Okay, that's good, because that is part of canon. Okay, all well, good. All said well and good. So the part's great. And Dr. Corby's always looking for the stuff that is attached with immortality. And as we know, this is from the first season of Star Trek, the original Star Trek episode. And so he gets alignment. He convinces the Federation to send the Enterprise and him and Nurse Chapel on this expedition to this one planet that he thinks has got this incredible thing that's going on, magnetic field, and he thinks it's hiding something, and he thinks the deflectors are going to be required to do this, and Spock arranges a way to get the deflectors to actually come down, or use the deflectors to eventually show what's being hidden by this magnetic field. That's kind of cool. Gamble, who's been wanting to go down on a trip down, you want to be an away team, got his wish granted. That was a great thing. So that's a cool thing. So I think that was all fun. And then we get introduced to a new alien that's on this one planet. The alien didn't say much, but when the alien did speak, it was cool. So it was like, okay, bravo again. Oh, this episode was so well thought out, I thought. So well thought out. And, did we get necessarily into timeline stuff here? No, but we got into the layers of different planes of existence. Maybe what just minimally separates us from the next plane of existence, maybe spirit world, maybe whatever's. Maybe it's the fifth dimension or whatever. So this ends up exploring all this stuff. And Dr. Corby's he's over enthusiastic, doesn't always want to think about things because he's so in love with stuff. But the way team calms him down a little bit. Nurse Chapel figures out how to get them into this compound that was shown by once the deflectors wiped everything out, and there's an incredible, they thought, scientific find. So they go into this, do I dare say, like Temple of Doom-ish stuff that we've seen in Indiana Jones lore stuff? Yeah, maybe-ish, but also we've seen evidence of stuff like that in Stargate, especially the later years of Stargate, hiding things. So kudos. I don't mind when you leverage stuff from other sci-fi franchises and bring them to your story. I think they do a really good job on this. This, without belaboring too much, because bottom line is, this thing is so good to watch, so well worth watching. Try not to steal some stuff, but try not to give spoilers, but I am giving spoilers, sadly. So anyway, they go in there, and they find some dead bodies have been there for centuries, grave robbers, etc. And then eventually they end up getting trapped. They end up getting trapped into some multi-planes of existence. And because they have this one filmographer with them that's been filming the stuff per Federation Starfleet's request, his cameras, because of AI sensing stuff, they're able to go through some dimensional plane stuff. And, when there's this one section where they go into this one room and they all get disappeared, two disappear, and the other just in the room. And it turns out they're just in different planes of existence, and they find a way to get around that. And there's some causality shift stuff where we do have some time shifting that we've seen in different episodes of Star Trek. So once again, applaud. That was great. And so they end up working their way through this stuff. Meanwhile, before that actually happens, though, when they find the grave robbers, Gamble, our favorite new medical technician, is looking in the bag. He hands like a medallion thing, a tablet over to Dr. Corby. He looks at it, and there's this globe thing that's just grayish sitting there. And he picks it up, and it starts glowing. He lifts it up toward his face, and all of a sudden it goes, blows up and shatters into him. And all of a sudden his eyes are burnt out. So eventually they send him up to the Enterprise, and he goes up there, and they basically find out that his brain is dead, been fried, but he's got memories somehow. And one thing finally comes out that he's been taken over by some sort of entity. And this entity I think is going to be part of the new villains track coming forward on here. So this entity manipulates some people with the goal of, we eventually realize, taking over the Enterprise so he can do something. And what the something is, we determine back on the planet in this, we'll call it Temple of Doom stuff, is there are thousands of these globes that are caught in some sort of quantum time matrix and stuck there, or put there, locked up there by something. They finally realize that this is like a prison, and they realize they gotta get out of there. Meanwhile, back on the Enterprise, Gamble, this entity, finally takes full control of him. Of course, this guy's got burned out eyes still, but he looks, he senses things, I guess using ESP or whatever. And he starts reading the doctor's mind and pulls out some thoughts and, you know, basically of his daughter that we know he lost a couple seasons ago, and saying, how do you know that was even your daughter in that body anymore? That's something else maybe in that skin, hint, hint. And that's some other stuff. So, but anyway, we do have Captain Batel then who walks in, and if you remember correctly, she's infected with the Gorn DNA stuff, and we saw that in prior episodes. Now, I'm going to say this. This is one thing that does trouble me. You know, I think it troubles all our Trekkie fans. If they would have called the Gorn something else than the Gorn, I think we'd be loving all this. But right now, I think it's working right now. And so Captain Batel walks in after Gamble has taken over and is about to cause some issues in sickbay, and she walks in and her Gorn DNA takes over, and Gamble's entity they look at each other and they want to kill each other immediately. And Batel doesn't know why, but evidently the Gorn can sense ancient evil enemies. So this is kind of a cool thing that does happen. So there's a fight, and of course Pike is actually coming down for another, because he suspects there's problems with the security team, and you know, the security team takes him away. There's a little bit of an encounter with the doctor again, the security team. They put him Gamble into a prison cell. And meanwhile, Batel is sedated because she looked like she's going to rip apart anybody. So she wakes up, but she knows she hated that thing and wanted to kill that thing, but she didn't know why. So I think that, you know, kind of a great thing. I like the fact that we're showing the Gorn at this moment is not being evil, but actually protecting the universe. And these other entities are evil. We can sense that evil in that. So that's kind of a good thing. So anyway, back to the planet, they figure out that these globes are actually, this is a prison. They figure a way out. They go on. But they couldn't figure out how to get to the door because there's a big chasm, a.k.a. Indiana Jones, taking a leap of faith to go across the bridge, put their foot down, and boom, the bridge is there. There's some time stuff and different dimension plane stuff that comes into play. So they eventually get out and leave and get back to the Enterprise. And meanwhile, Gamble, the entity takes control of him. He breaks out of the cell he's in security by killing a security guard and playing the same mind games on him. And eventually he ends up going down to the engineering, and he figured out that if I get the security codes to get this, I can get control of the Enterprise. And Doctor is down there, and he's still trying to save Gamble. And we have Pella, and we have Scotty, and one thing leads to another, and Doctor struggles, and he thinks he's talking this creature out of of Gamble taking control back his own body, and then all of a sudden Gamble's taking up the phaser to kill him, and all of a sudden he gets blasted, and the entity that we saw getting into him floats out, and oh, of course, I forgot to tell you, a little earlier, we saw the entity looks like a lizard when these globe things, when Spock was doing some analysis. And so once again, this is kind of the protector alien opposites of the Gorn. And so by kills them, the entity pops up. You sort of see that, and Scotty re-put together this containment thing that the thing was in, grabs him, hugs him, puts him back in the glass, throws it up in the air, beams him into the buffer of the transporter. And he was asked, where did you send him? He goes, nowhere. And so we think that's kind of it. And a little later, we see that this entity, even though it's in the transporter, is starting to try to take control of the computer. If that's where the episode ends, I think incredible. Latinum. I want to hear your comments. Hey, by the way, thank you for your comments and everywhere else. Please like and subscribe our channel. We're young and growing. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.